Hey everyone, this is Nick from Mecha Warehouse, and today we're back with weekly update number 126. Let's kick things off with week in review. This is where I talk about what's been going on in the warehouse, things that are coming up, stuff like that. And I guess first off, we had 2 restocks earlier this week, kind of following the pattern we mentioned recently that we're going to start doing restocks kind of not on the regular Friday schedule, just to try to allow us to get stuff in and up on the website sooner and keep things kind of moving at a little bit faster pace. So that happened this week. We had 2 restocks Monday and Tuesday actually. And so that was kind of interesting, trying to adapt to this new paradigm of doing it that way. And I figured I'd mention just to tell people, keep an eye out for restocks that may not be Friday. Keep an eye on or sign up for our SMS messages or email or join our Discord. Discord usually finds out first about that kind of stuff. And so if you're interested in those restocks, that's a great way to make sure you see them ASAP. Speaking of restocks, not next week, but probably the week after that, we'll start seeing a few really large restocks. We've got a bunch of stuff queuing up to get shipped out. Really excited about those restocks coming in. Hopefully they'll be here relatively soon. Moving on though, I think the biggest thing this week was the new announcements from Bandai on, I guess it was Wednesday their time, so it was like Tuesday night for us here, and a whole bunch of new kits. We're planning a video for next week where we'll go through all the new releases. Lots of exciting stuff in that batch, RG Epion being probably the most exciting one, at least the one that I'm most excited about. A lot of good stuff in that, and I want to remind people that one, given our latest BNTCA situation and just in general, we will attempt to offer pre-orders for these. We are working out which distributor or distributors we'll be able to get them from and get a solid confirmation on the number we have coming. We have at least a few distributors that are willing to talk to us, I think, and we're going to start that process now. Nobody that I'm aware of has received any order forms. The distributors I've talked to have not received their order forms for the new stuff yet, and I wouldn't expect it based on previous history that we had with BNTCA that they would have those order forms yet. So when they get those, we'll be placing our orders with them and trying to negotiate some sort of confirmation of the allocation that we're going to get. And if we can get confidence that we will actually get what we ask for, or that we have an allotment of these new releases coming, we will offer them for pre-order. So keep an eye out for that. We'll try to keep everybody posted as that situation develops, but we won't know what we're getting probably for months. So we won't have pre-orders up for a while until we have that confirmation. Finally, this Sunday, I'll be heading out to ValleyCon. That's an IPMS show in Chicopee, Mass. We bring Ethan. I think Patrick might be coming with us. Maybe we'll have 1 or 2 others with us. Who knows? But looking forward to going out there, bringing some kits, and just interacting with the community. It was a good show last year. 2 really large Gundam tables. They had 2 Gundam categories, like a beginner category that was more or less snap builds, panel lining, stuff like that, and then an advanced category that included all the painted builds, customization, that kind of stuff. So it's a great show for beginners to come out to, because you don't necessarily need a perfectly painted kit. You could have a kit you snap built and panel lined to top code, say, and put it in that beginner category and all that. So it's a good show for beginners, and it's just a good show in general from past experience. So really looking forward to going out to that. That's Sunday. I think it's in Chicopee, Mass at the nice at Columbus Hall. If you Google ValleyCon IPMS, you should be able to find the information out there. So that's it for Week in Review. Let's move on to pre-orders. We had 4 new pre-orders added to the site this week. The Hexagear 124 Lord Impulse. That's kind of I think that's a reprint. I think we had the Lord Impulse in a while ago. It's kind of almost like Zoid looking kind of thing, quadruped animal type design. The Heavy Weapon Unit 19 Solid Raptor, which looks kind of like a little fighter jet that I believe can be turned into a backpack or other accessory. The Hexagear 124 VThor and Pawn X1 Night Stalker sets. This is the VThor and the Pawn X1 Governor. The VThor I think was pretty popular think big robot with a giant sword, pretty cool. Can't go wrong with that. And then finally, the MSG Weapon Unit 07 Twin Link Magnum. So pretty cool looking rifle, I believe, that would probably look good with a lot of kits. So 4 new pre-orders this week, definitely worth taking a look, and I wouldn't be surprised if there is 1 or 2 more up in the near future that I'm not talking about now because they're just not ready to go up on the site yet. Let's move on to team picks. So this is where some of our team members in the warehouse and whatever go over some of the builds they might have done recently, things that we should have in stock, and what they liked about them, whatever. So check that out.
This week I built and brought in the Takemika Duchi Type 00F from Muvlev Alternative. I've been wanting to build one of the Muvlev kits for a while since I watched the show. Pretty cool. Most of them have jet fighter designs because it's kind of like an alternate history where humans built robots instead of jet fighters to fight aliens. The kits have a lot of sharp angles, a lot of good panel line detail. Pretty interesting kit. Only issue I had with it was with the wrists.
I'm Chad. Today I brought in the SD Cross Silhouettes Hello Kitty X Zaku 2, the green version. This was one of the kits that I found when I first started my entrance into the hobby. I was going at a Hot Topic and Box Lunch and stuff, and for some reason they had Gundam kits. And so I found the Hello Kitty kit, and it was the choice between the pink Char one or the green kit. And then the green one at the time, it just seemed to resonate with me a little more. But I built it up, and then I later on realized that I could buy more of them. And so I painted it purple using the Gundam Marker airbrush set. And I changed the bow to a neon green color, also Gundam Marker, because I plan on painting them a bunch of different colors. So it's gonna be like a rainbow of Hello Kitty Zaku kits, kind of like Power Rangers. Basically, if there's a Gundam Marker, there's probably gonna be a Hello Kitty color of it.
Hi, I'm Dylan. I brought the Frame Arms Kagetsuchi, and I ended up picking it up because it reminded me a lot of the Armored Core kits without having to pay the ridiculous price for them right now. I love the overall bulkiness. I like the really big, stupid fin that it has on its head. It kind of hits that nice in between of almost like an industrial feeling like Mecha, but not being too far removed. It was an overall interesting build because it's a lot of big flat pieces that just go together, not a lot of little pieces. If I had maybe 1 or 2 complaints about it, it's how they chose to do the shoulder and hip joints. They're kind of weirdly built, so it doesn't give itself a lot in terms of posing. You can get a lot of upper body posing out of it, but not a lot of lower body maneuverability.
All right, now we're done with team picks. Let's move on to Q&A. So this is where I answer questions from you, the viewer. If you have a question you want answered, post it down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it next time. I have a lot of questions this week, I think, so hopefully I get to all of them. I'm going to try to answer all of them. Some might have to get cut for video length and stuff like that. So if you have a question you want answered, post it down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer it next week. So first up, Rossonero. Hi, Mecha Warehouse. Keep up the great work and fun content. Question. Since getting into the hobby, I've noticed there's a decent sub-community of Astray aficionados, despite it not having a large presence in universe. Given your background in karate, are you also a fan of the Astray design, and which kit, if any, speaks to you? So yeah, Astray is interesting in that I think it's only in a manga. I don't think it appears in any animation as of yet. So I think that's part of why it's kind of a little bit more niche in some ways. But the Astray designs are pretty cool. I haven't read the manga. I think the Astray I am at most into is the Sengoku type from Build Fighters. And that's mostly because that's the only place I saw it in animation, and it's pretty cool design. And I don't really know enough about Astray to understand the relation with the background and karate thing, so I can't really speak to that, but I think it is an interesting design, although definitely not like a top favorite design for me. But good question. Next one, Harvey Gent. The acrylic cases are sick. Do you think a MG Sosby Verka would fit in one of the PG size cases? Thanks. And I wasn't totally sure, but Roberto Lopez commented below. We'll ask the same question in the Mecha Warehouse Discord server. So I assume those guys, somebody did the math on the footprint and dimensions and made sure it would fit. So pretty sure it will fit. Next one, Nike, some questions. Would you consider selling Gundam Blu-rays and manga? I think we definitely would consider it. I don't know how it would perform for us, but it's something I would definitely consider doing as we get through some of our supply things and we're looking for what areas to expand into. That would be an interesting area to try to expand into, assuming I can find a good distributor for those kind of materials. The next question, if you were Bandai, what 3 kits would you make next, including new kits, new versions of an existing kit, etc.? So one, I would make an MG Leo, because I think that needs to be done. I'd make an HG Aries, because that also needs to be done. The third one, I'd probably be another PG. I'm not sure which one, but something like the Heavy Arms, or there's a few other designs that I can't think of off the top of my head that would make great PGs and I think would perform really well for Bandai if they made them. So probably would be something like that. Next up, Plastic Germs question. With some newer kits coming out without polycaps, do you think they will do without polycaps in the future? I mean, I think they basically have. Right, a lot of new HG kits, some master grade kits, I think have kind of done away with polycaps in general. So I suspect more and more new designs will go that way, if not all new designs. I wouldn't be surprised if anything that's new and designed from the ground up probably doesn't have polycaps at this point. There might be kits that are based on previous kits that had polycaps that they didn't feel the need to re-engineer it, but I suspect we'll see fewer and fewer kits be released with polycaps. Next one, Lamic. Has Mecha Warehouse considered becoming a Mecha model distributor as also a store? You're watching the rest of the team on these videos. Glad you're liking that. So to answer this question, so we've thought about doing the retail store thing, which I think is what this question is about. And I don't think that it's going to happen anytime soon, mostly because there's a logistical challenge involved with running a retail store and running the online part. Anything that's in stock in the store has to be separated. That stock has to be separate from the website, or else we risk someone buying something off the shelf in the store and having it already being sold on the website, or vice versa. And that creates a problem. You need additional staff to run the store. And at least where we're located right here, I don't know that we have a large enough population base in our immediate surroundings to have it be the most profitable venture to try to set up a store. We'd need space, we'd need one or more individuals to run that. And I just don't think that'll happen anytime soon. Could it happen eventually? Probably, maybe. But right now, it's not something that's high on our priority list for the reasons I mentioned earlier. Next up, Crazy Rabbit question. Which MS pulled off the most unnecessary pose while or before battle? I don't even know. I can't even think of anything. I bet you it's probably something from G Gundam, but I haven't watched G Gundam. But I bet you there's probably a few good examples from that. So I don't really know, so I'll leave it at that. Next one, Titan Warlord question. Do you think Gira Zulu guard type will ever see a reprint? Most likely. Most kits do get reprints. Some get reprinted every year, some get reprinted every few years, some get reprinted every few months. Depends on how popular it is, how regularly it sells. Gira Zulu guard type, probably in one of those like every year or two kind of categories, I think. I would suspect that it does get reprinted at some point, but when and what quantities are the variables I don't know and can't control. Okay, Roberto Lopez question, how many kits come with dings and dents usually per box pallet? Fun question, what's an inside joke at Mecha Warehouse? So the first part, dings and dents, really depends on the order and how it's shipped. When things come as cartons just shipped UPS, we tend to get a higher quantity of dings and dents. I don't know what it is as a percentage. It really depends on where it was coming from, what carrier, how far it was, things like that. It could be just a few, sometimes we get cases with no damage. Sometimes we get cases that are mostly damaged. So it kind of varies. When things come on pallets, we tend to get a lot less damage typically because each box is handled less. There are notable exceptions, like when it looks like they ran a forklift to the pallet or put something on top of a short pallet or something like that. So it's hard to quantify because it really depends order to order. We've had times where it feels like maybe 5 or 10% has been damaged before, and we've had times where we've had almost no damage on large orders. So it really is variable from time to time. As far as an inside joke at Mecha Warehouse, it wouldn't be an inside joke if I told you, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And then I think one more, Dolpha. When will Nick build a Megami device kit on stream? Probably not ever. I think that's it for questions. So thank you for your questions. If you have a question you want answered, post it down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer it next time. Thank you for watching. See you next time.